probably wondered why abuse in powerful institutions keeps happening. It feels like the system is there to protect the abusers and not to protect the kids. I'm Kat, a survivor of child sex abuse, and I wanted to share with you what really changed my view on accountability. Today, we're going to hear from Joseph Fearon, a lawyer who walks alongside survivors and will be explaining how civil law actually holds institutions accountable. Let's dive in.
When we look at the cover-ups, that's what gave the institution power. They could continue allowing the abuse to happen because nobody knew about it, or very few people. What changes with civil litigation, especially when you compare it to criminal litigation. Criminal litigation, the institution's not going to jail. You can't send an institution to jail. You can send a priest to jail, a Boy Scout leader, a teacher to jail, but you can't hit the institution.
It is interesting how we can lock up an individual, but how do we hold whole systems accountable? For so long it felt like institutions were untouchable. What Joseph is speaking to here is how civil law can step in where criminal law just can't.
Civil law is different because now that survivors are coming forward and standing up and talking about what happened, lawyers are bringing cases and hitting these institutions where it hurts, which is their pocketbook. They know that when they hurt kids, they may be facing a lawsuit. And what that means is you better be taking steps to protect these kids.
I find this really important because for survivors, it often feels like nothing can be done. Interestingly enough, when lawsuits start impacting money, suddenly institutions have to listen. It's not about punishment, it's about protecting the individuals in their care.
Because if you don't, there's going to be consequences. And when we look at institutions across the board, school boards, religious diocese for the Catholic Church, how bishops from the Catholic Church are handling these things, there's Big Sisters, Boy Scouts, there have been enormous changes with how they're running their operations.
I know it can feel overwhelming hearing the names of churches, schools, and youth organizations. I mean, these are the places that shaped our very lives. It's interesting because what Joseph is pointing out here is that survivors' voices are creating change, new policies, new protections, and even insurance companies demanding accountability. Now that is power.
Because of these cases, new protections have been put in place. Insurance companies often require them. An insurance company is not going to want to insure a church, a school, Boy Scouts, if they're not taking these protections because they know they're going to have to pay out the claims. So it's, I think, dramatically changed how institutions that are working with children and vulnerable people are being run. And in some cases, those institutions have actually filed for bankruptcy because they hurt too many kids. It had to be shut down.
Listening to Joseph, the one thing that really spoke to me is realizing that silence can give institutions power. When survivors come forward, whether that is a lawsuit, sharing their story, or just refusing to carry the shame alone, that creates change. If this gave you new perspective, let us know in the comments. What about Joseph's breakdown surprised you the most? Please like and subscribe so that way you don't miss conversations like this one. We are building a space where survivors' voices create change. I see you, and you are braving healing.